Welcome ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr.J and this is the first episode of my series How to Complete Hollow Knight. The first part of this guide will be a single run with the aim of completing the game with a 112% completion rating. This will culminate in conquering the hardest challenge this game has to offer, the Pantheon of Hallownest, and thus achieving one of the 6 possible endings. I will follow this up with a myriad of deeper dive videos about specific aspects of the game. These include a collectibles guide, certain achievements guide and various other interesting topics. Now the 112% completion rating is tracked in-game by various specific activities you perform during the playthrough. This can be viewed by the player, but it is a bit annoying, so I've made this progress tracker to show you how far along the way we are. Also, I've included a timer so you can have an idea of approximately how long it will take to get the 112% completion using the route I will be showing you. Talking about the route, I would like to thank WataniOp for creating the guide that I've based my playthrough on. I've linked it as well as various other helpful resources in the description below. Also, I would like to stress that this is not a spoiler-free walkthrough. I will be giving detailed explanation on the story, current and past, of the Hallownest kingdom. Although I've tried to talk about the various topics at the points in time where you would have been able to find out about them during a regular playthrough, there will still be very heavy spoilers. I want to thank you for choosing to spend your time with me, and above all, I want you to enjoy the journey we're about to embark on. After this wonderful cinematic, you are literally thrown into the world of Hollow Knight. These first few screens are mainly to help you familiarize yourself with basic movement mechanics and controls. The Crawlich is the first enemy you will encounter. They pose no real threat and serve as an introduction to the combat in the game. The items dropped are called Geo and are the game's currency. We will be using quite a lot of them. Anytime you hit or get hit, you get knocked back. When you're hit, you also have a brief period of invulnerability frames or iframes. These are geostones. Hitting them a few times will yield a varying amount of geo depending on their size. An in-game explanation on the healing mechanic. Both healing and spells require soul. Soul is collected most commonly by hitting enemies, though there are other ways to generate it. We'll come back to them later. The Vengeflies are the first flying enemies you will encounter. They will emit a squawk before homing in on you when you aggro them. Try to collect as many geostones as possible, especially in the beginning, as geo is pretty tight for a while. Also, falling stalactites are pretty common, and they are telegraphed by a small dust cloud right before dropping. The blue liquid adds a buffer of a couple of hit points, or masks as they're called in this game. Unfortunately, they are temporary, in the sense you cannot heal them, so once you lose them, they last for good. Crumbling floors are quite common, though they are usually not something you should be concerned about. There are quite a lot of secret rooms like this, so try to explore every nook and cranny. In order to get our first charm, we'll be using the relatively difficult mechanic of pogo jumping. Basically, slashing downwards will make our character bounce off of whatever he's attacked. Fortunately, spikes aren't insta-dead, though they will send you back a bit to the last solid ground you've touched. Charms are basically equipment that can modify certain characteristics of your knight. In order to equip them, we need to sit on a bench and have enough free notches. The charm we've just picked up is Fury of the Fallen. It works similarly to the red tear stone ring from Dark Souls. When you're at 1 mask, it increases your nail damage by 75%. Every time we collect a charm, I'll be telling you what possible charm combos are appropriate with it, so you have an easier time customizing your preferred build. For this charm, the best combos would be Glowing Womb and Grubberfly's Elegy for their ranged properties, and Fragile or Unbreakable Strength if you're very confident in your dodging abilities. There are often wooden beams or something similar that could be used to open the shortcut to a previous area, though in this case it is required in order to proceed. And here we are. Welcome to Dirtmouth. You can talk to Elderbug, though aside from some war tidbits, he doesn't have much to say. Benches are both ways to save the game, equip charms, and later update the map. We don't have any other charms, so let's just equip Fury of the Fallen for now. Take a note of the shop here. It's closed now, but we'll be coming back to it very soon. This well is where our journey will continue, but let's skip it for a bit to explore further to the right. As I said, it's a good idea to explore everywhere, though right now only one place is open for us as we don't have a simple key to unlock this door. So let's drop down in the well and see what treasures we can find in the ruined kingdom of Hallownest. The game is very good in gradually increasing the difficulty of the enemies and platforming challenges. The tick-tick rolls along the floor or ceiling on the platform sits on and does not react to you in any way. The wandering husks, however, will close in on you and attack you when they see you. Take a note of the glow in their eyes. We'll find out the reason for it near the end of the game. And this is our first encounter with another NPC, Quirrell. Quirrell is an explorer, fascinated by the myths of Hallownest. After speaking with him, we are continuing our journey through Hallownest. Next stop is finding Cornifer, the cartographer. When re-entering an area you've cleared from enemies, some of them will not respawn until you sit on a bench. Usually only the weaker enemies respawn after an area transition. Like I said, try to grab as much geo as possible in the beginning. These flying enemies are called Gruzzers. Similarly to the Crawlits, they just fly around and the only way to hurt you is if you bump into them. Thankfully there is no fall damage in this game. The only penalty is a slight recovery time if the fall is too great. Cornifer is easily spotted because of the song he hums. He will sell you your first map. In Hollow Knight, whenever you enter a new area, you don't have an access to the map until you find Cornifer to sell you one. It is not a full map, but you can use it, and with the help of a quill and preferably a compass, navigation through Hallownest becomes much easier. To get the quill and the compass charm, however, we need to visit his wife Iselda, back in their shop in Dirtmouth, which has now been opened. After buying the map, we'll head towards the next collectible in this game, the grub. Grubs are scattered throughout the game, and after freeing each one of them, you will receive various rewards from the grub father, whom we'll be meeting later. Another little bit of platforming, this time introducing the golem. These armored worms cannot be damaged, so you'll just have to dodge them while pressing forward. Later in the game we will get an ability that allows us to swim in acid, but for now we must avoid it. In this area we will also meet the aspid mothers for the first time. They spawn aspid hatchlings, one at a time up to a total of 15. Upon that she also spawns a couple hatchlings. Now that we have grub number 1, let's go back to the golem room, and this time we will go to the bottom and right in the area where Cornifer is. Careful of the falling stalactites. At several points in the game there are gauntlets or arenas where you need to kill all enemies before being able to proceed. In this case we're up against aspid hunters. Their only attack is spitting a single blob of corrosive fluid at you, which is not terribly difficult to avoid. Overall, they are easy to dispatch and are not much of a challenge. We'll be dodging some golems again. We'll be needing the claws or the monarch wings to get to this ledge. It may be possible to ward the vengefly and pogo off of him, but I haven't tried it. Please leave a comment if you guys have done it. Grabbing some more geo. And still more golems. Yay! Continuing to the right, we find a sign pointing us to the stack station, which is exactly where we will be going. Here it is, the stack station. Stacks are the fast travel method in the game. In order to use it, you first need to unlock it by paying a certain amount of geo. In order to code the stack, we need to hit the bell. After our little chat, it's time to leave the station and go grab ourselves another grub. There are many places which feature a breakable wall or floor. They are visible, but you really have to pay attention. And that's grub number 2. There are are a lot of levers like this which open door or activate contraptions. All you have to do is hit them. As per usual, when in doubt, start hitting things. Some more geo in the wallet. The next NPC we encounter is Maiwa. She sings interesting songs, not at all creepy. Also, take a note of her eyes. We'll be visiting her again and I want you to see if you can spot any change in them. After we politely declined her invitation to stay and mine with her, we'll be going to collect another grub. Next up is the first actually dangerous enemy. The Huskguard is quite sturdy, but thankfully his attack pattern is very predictable. He has two attacks, an overhead slam and shockwave. You can squeeze one slash during the pause between his overhead slam attack and simply jump over his shockwave. The main thing is to be patient and not get greedy. Grub number 3 liberated. Now we'll be backtracking to the room with the stack station and taking the middle right exit for the next grub. The Husk Warriors are the first enemies that actually react to what you are doing and protect themselves with their shield from your attacks. The easiest way to defeat them that works for me is simply to pogo jump on their head. Eventually they'll lower their shield and you can damage them. Otherwise, simply wait until they finish their combo and attack them while they are vulnerable. Killing the Aspid Mothers in this room is quite annoying while you still don't have any advanced movement abilities, but just patiently take them on one by one and you'll have no problems. Was barely able to squeeze a heal there, completely unnecessary. The next group is significantly harder to get to. You really need to practice your pogo jumping on spikes. And that's group number 4. Going back to the previous room through the exit at the bottom, then to the right. Time for the first boss battle, though you can barely call it that. The Grass Mother has two attack patterns, a charge and wildly slamming against the walls, ceiling and floor. Both of them are easy to dodge, so just attack her whenever you have the opportunity. When defeated, she spawns a few Grozzers, which you have to defeat before the arena doors open. Among the wandering husks we see another new enemy, the Husk Hornhead. Its only attack is charging with his horn, otherwise there's nothing special about him. The next NPC is a quite important one, Sly. He's a shopkeeper, but he's also got a secret we'll find out about in quite a while. Take a note on what he's saying in his dazed state, as well as the cloud around his head. Chat with him for a while and he'll return to his shop in Dirtmouth. Now let's go left and open the shortcut. We will be going back to the room with the stack station, but this time we will take the exit above and to the left of it. This is the leaping husk. It does what it says on the tin, nothing much to add. Grabbing some more geo. Again, we need as much as possible in this stage of the game. You can simply skip the husk guard if you don't feel like fighting him, but I want his geo. While we're dealing with the husk guard, let's talk a bit about the Forgotten Crossroads. In the past it was an important trading route as it connected the many regions of the Hallownest kingdom. Even now, in its decayed state, it leads to most of the areas we will be exploring. Just imagine how busy and bustling it was during the prime of the Hallownest kingdom. After disposing of those husks, get ready to face the first actual boss. The false knight has several attacks. The leap attack and charge attack are exactly what they sound like. Just try to dodge him when you see him doing them. His slam attack is when he starts with a little wind up of his mace and then slams it on the ground in front of him, creating a single shockwave traveling forward. When you see the wind up, go in a position where you can jump over the shockwave and you'll be fine. The leaping bludgeon attack is similar to his leap attack, but he also slams his mace after landing. It is visible which of the two attacks he's doing because he lifts his mace above his head when doing the bludgeon attack. Basically, the fight consists of hitting his armor enough times in order to stun him and force the maggot to show his face. Then healing if needed, or hitting the maggot a few more times before he goes back in the armor and the next phase starts. At this point he'll start raging and slamming his mace back and forth, causing rocks to fall from the ceiling. You can dodge or hit them away from you, or even direct them to the false knight. After stunning him 3 times, he'll break the floor and fall down. Go after him and finish him. You automatically collect the city crest which you need in order to enter the City of Tears. Now let's go left and grab the geo chest. Continue left and start going upwards until you reach the Ancestral Mound. Hey guys, I hope you've enjoyed the journey so far. Now that we have the city crest, we could technically open the gates of the City of Tears, but we still need one more item in order to get to those gates. Next time we will also finally meet the Grubfather as well as get our first spell. And finally, we will be introduced to perhaps the most important character in the game. If you've enjoyed it, please press the like button, and if you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear from you. This will really help me to provide better content for you guys. Hope to see you again next time, and until then, have a good one.